Boom. The spotlight hits Chris Rock as he grabs the mic at the Hollywood charity gala. The crowd's already laughing before he even opens his mouth. But what happens next will leave 2,000 celebrities speechless and create the most viral moment of 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris starts. His signature grin spreading across his face. We got some legends in the house tonight. The audience erupts. But yo, can we talk about how some of these legends are getting, let's say, vintage? The camera pans across the star-studded audience. There's Leonardo DiCaprio chuckling, Jennifer Lawrence covering her mouth, and then, there he is, Keanu Reeves, sitting quietly in the third row, that gentle smile we all know and love. Chris's eyes lock onto him like a heat-seeking missile. Oh man, Keanu, Chris shouts, pointing directly at him. Stand up, brother. Come on. The crowd goes wild. Everyone's phones are out. This is about to be content. Keanu, ever the gentleman, stands and waves modestly. He's wearing a simple black suit, looking effortlessly cool at 60 years old. Now Keanu, Chris continues, his voice getting that mischievous edge, I gotta ask you something, man. You've been matrixing around Hollywood for what, 35 years? You were dodging bullets when some of these young actors were dodging bedtime. Scattered laughter ripples through the crowd. Some people shift uncomfortably. Where is this going? I mean, seriously. Chris presses on, his voice getting louder. This man has been the one for so long, he's practically the ancient one now. Keanu, my brother, when did you start getting your action sequences in slow motion? Because that's just how fast you move naturally. The laughter becomes more nervous. Cameras are zooming in on Keanu's face. He's still smiling, but something flickers in his eyes. And don't even get me started on John Wick, Chris continues, really warming up now. 4 movies of this man running around with a gun, breathing heavy, and I'm thinking, maybe John Wick needs to retire before he needs a hip replacement. Am I right? Now the audience is really uncomfortable. Some people aren't laughing at all. This isn't playful roasting anymore. This is getting personal. I'm just saying. Chris pushes further. Maybe it's time to pass the torch, you know? Let some young blood take over. We got actors out here who don't need a stuntman for walking upstairs. The silence is deafening. That's when something magical happens. Keanu starts walking toward the stage. Not storming, not angry, just walking with that calm, purposeful stride that made Neo iconic. Every step echoes through the silent ballroom. Chris Rock's confident smirk starts to fade as he realizes the entire room is watching this unfold. Keanu reaches the stage steps. Chris extends the microphone, probably expecting some awkward comeback or maybe just a gracious laugh-it-off moment. Instead, Keanu takes the mic, looks out at the crowd of Hollywood's biggest names, and speaks in that distinctive, measured voice we all recognize. Chris, my friend, he begins, his tone gentle but somehow carrying the weight of wisdom. There's a verse in the Bible, Proverbs 17:28, that says, even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. The room is so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Keanu continues, his voice never rising but somehow filling every corner of that massive ballroom. Age isn't about the number of years you've lived, but about the wisdom you've gained and the grace you show others. The young see age as a limitation, the wise see it as a foundation. He pauses, looking directly at Chris with no malice, just gentle understanding. We're all getting older, brother, every single day. The question isn't whether we'll age, it's whether we'll do it with dignity, kindness, and respect for those walking the path beside us. Then comes the moment that breaks the internet. Keanu hands the microphone back to Chris and says, quiet enough that the whole room has to strain to hear. Besides, I've been practicing kung fu for 25 years. These old bones still got some moves. He winks. The place explodes. People aren't just clapping. They're on their feet, cheering, whistling. Leonardo DiCaprio is applauding so hard his hands must hurt. Jennifer Lawrence has tears in her eyes. Even the waitstaff in the back of the room are clapping. But here's the beautiful part. Chris Rock starts laughing. Not embarrassed laughter, not awkward laughter, but genuine, joyful laughter. He pulls Keanu into a hug right there on stage. Man, Chris says into the mic, his voice full of respect, that is why this man is a legend. Not because of the movies, not because of the action scenes, but because of the man he is. The applause gets even louder. You just schooled me with the Bible, bro. Chris continues, shaking his head in amazement. I came up here thinking I was gonna roast Keanu Reeves, and he just blessed me with some wisdom. Y'all, this is why I love this man. What happens next is pure magic. Instead of leaving the stage, Keanu stays. He and Chris spend the next 10 minutes talking about aging in Hollywood, about respect, about the difference between comedy that lifts people up versus comedy that tears them down. It becomes the most genuine, heartfelt conversation anyone's seen at a Hollywood event in years. You know what I learned tonight? Chris tells the audience, there's a difference between being funny and being kind. The best comedians, the legendary comedians, they know how to be both. The crowd erupts again. By the time Keanu finally leaves the stage, the entire energy of the room has shifted. What started as a potentially humiliating roast turned into a masterclass in grace, wisdom, and turning the other cheek. But the story doesn't end there. Within hours, clips of Keanu's response are trending on every social platform. Tano Chilstre Kanu Silsing Krok, Pleistereld Martord. Preachers are using his response in sermons. Philosophy professors are showing the clip in ethics classes. More importantly, it starts a conversation about how we treat aging in our society, especially in entertainment. Suddenly, everyone's talking about ageism, about respect, about the difference between punching up and punching down in comedy. Chris Rock posts a video the next day. Last night, Keanu Reeves reminded me why he's not just an action star, he's a class act. Sometimes the best comeback isn't a comeback at all, it's a comeback up. Much respect, brother. That video gets 50 million views in 24 hours. But perhaps the most beautiful part of this whole story is what we learn about both men. Chris Rock shows us that true confidence means being able to admit when you've missed the mark and learn from it. Keanu Reeves shows us that wisdom isn't about winning arguments, it's about elevating conversations. The moral of the story, in a world where everyone's trying to get the last word, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is speak words that lift others up. Age brings many things, but the greatest gift it can bring is the wisdom to know when to speak and what to say when you do. And sometimes, just sometimes, a simple Bible verse shared with genuine love can change an entire room and remind us all what it really means to be legendary. The end. This story reminds us that true strength isn't about fighting back, it's about lifting others up, even when they don't deserve it. That's the Keanu way.